Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel, and I don't have any coffee at the moment because it's later in the evening, so I thought I would hold off. I am out of decaf coffee, so I need to go pick some more up. And we just had a pretty good little rain shower, but it only lasted like 5 or 7 minutes. And now the sun is coming back up, or coming back out, and I can see it through my living room window around the corner. But we are diving into a book called A Botanist's Guide to Rituals and Revenge. Now, I didn't realize when I picked this up that this was book number 4 of the Saffron Everly series. And it is actually a mystery series, but it was really cute. And instead of kind of putting it to the side and going back and reading the other 3 right away, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this one. And then maybe I'll get a chance to go read the other 3 at some point in the future. We'll see. Now, I was actually surprised that this is a cozy mystery with no murder. So, somebody in the not too far past asked me, don't most of them have murder? And to the point, frequently is the answer, but not always. And this one did not have a murder. But it does have a mystery. So that is what we are addressing in this particular book. So let's dive into the summary and we will go from there. Brilliant botanist Saffron Everly faces her hardest challenge yet when she returns to her childhood home in the 4th book in a charming Saffron Everly mystery series. A cleverly plotted puzzle, Ashley Weaver, in the vein of... Oh, I guess that's what Ashley Weaver said, in the vein of opium and absinthe. This is perfect for the fans of Reese Bowen and Sujata Masi. Saffron Everly returns to Ellington Manor after her grandfather suffers a heart attack. Back in her childhood home for the first time in years, Saffron faces tense family relationships made worse by the presence of the enigmatic Bill Wyatt, hired on as a doctor to the ailing Lord Easting. But the man is no doctor. In reality, he is a mysterious figure involved in the trafficking of dangerous government secrets, and his presence at Ellington can only mean trouble. When their neighbors, the Hales, invite a spiritual medium into the village who starts angling for Saffron's mother's attention, Saffron realizes that there is more afoot in her hometown than she originally thought. Not to mention, inviting Alexander to Ellington has put their budding relationship under the family's microscope. Bum, bum, bum. As tensions rise at Ellington, Bill demands that Saffron hand over old research documents belonging to her late father. With her relatives under his power as their doctor, Saffron fears she may be forced to surrender the files along with her hopes of ever understanding her father's obscure legacy. Nothing and no one is as it seems at Ellington, though, it's through the perfumed haze of the seance smoke that Saffron must search for the truth before it's too late. It is considered mystery, historical fiction, cozy mystery, fiction, historical mystery, and suspense. It's pretty short, only about 336, and I say short, 336 pages is pretty average. I think the audiobook that I had was somewhere around 11 hours, but again, I listened to them on about 1.25 speed, so I tend to finish them quicker than that. It is due out on June 10th of 2025, so I will actually be releasing 2 episodes on the same day on June 10th. So I just happen to be doing it that way because I have 2 books, and I think I've actually already lined up the rest of my books for this week. I'll have to double check my schedule. But anyway, let us get to my thoughts and we will go from there. Now, this was my first foray into a Saffron Everly mystery. I did not realize when, again, I picked it up on NetGalley or requested it, that it was the fourth in a series. I saw it was something that kind of was cute. It said something about botany and rituals, and I was like, you know what? Sounds like a cozy mystery. And I think when I clicked on it, it did say something about cozy mysteries, and I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I will request it. So I did, and I think I was an instant, I think it was like an instant approve. So it was quickly in my queue. So started listening to it when I realized pretty quickly on that I was missing a couple pieces because they did reference. Now, they are not vital to understanding what's going on in this story, but there are a few references to previous cases, so I guess you would better understand how people fit together and some of the things that they have done together in the past. It probably helps you understand how her and her new boyfriend, her new beau, Mr. Alexander Ashton, have come together. And so those sorts of things. Like, I would assume that these are the things that have, like, come together in, like, maybe books 1 through 3. But in this particular book, I think she's been called back to Ellington, which is pretty much her family home. And she's not super happy about it. She has left the home because she does not want to pursue, like, living the life of a lady, so to speak. She prefers to be a research specialist, a botanist. She wants to follow more in her father's footsteps rather than being like a duke or duchess or marrying well, so to speak. She doesn't really care about that part of the life. Well, her grandparents still do. And so anytime she's back at the house, of course, they're trying to make a good match for her because they don't know this Mr. Ashton person, and he's not part of society. So who is he to put his nose in whatever business or affairs? So they're just not they're not super impressed. Anyway, it does seem as though that her mother her mother seems to like Mr. Alexander Ashton pretty well, but I think her mother's still kind of like not a super like. I think her and her mother still don't get along super well either. I think there's just some tension there because she's so much like her father. Her father, who was like a researcher as well. But we do seem to understand that there is some tension between Saffron and this Mr. Bill Wyatt person. And he seems to be masquerading at her family estate as this cardiologist. Now, her grandfather says that this Mr. Wyatt has come highly recommended. Now, by who, we don't really find out right away, but he has really, Mr. Wyatt has pretty much been whispering in Saffron's ears that if she does not give him what he wants, he will do harm to her family because she knows the truth about him even if no one else really does. And then there is this Madame Martin who I guess Saffron and Elizabeth, who is Saffron's best friend, had already run across Madame Martin and Fisher, who is the Madame's assistant in Paris, and so knew that she was a charlatan of sorts. Well, now she's in Elizabeth's family home because they go over for a dinner party one night, and boom, there's this medium who's trying to do a seance and saying that she's going to be able to channel Elizabeth's dead brother Wesley, who I guess was also a childhood love of Saffron, and everybody gets a little drugged, gets a little addle-brained, because I think the incense are poisoned. And they're not poisoned, they're just laced with something to make people hallucinate, but I think that's kind of the same thing as being poisoned, is if there's something in incense to make you kind of go loopy, you're drugged. Same difference. There's lots of things going on, but no one gets killed. I waited about 65% of the book before I realized nobody was passing away. That was not going to be the mystery we were solving. And at first I was a little confused, because I thought, oh yeah, somebody's going to be found dead or something. Maybe the madam is going to be found dead. No, we didn't get there. So the mystery is really, we're trying to figure out Mr. Bill Wyatt. We're trying to figure out what he wants, how to get rid of him, like what the secret is with Saffron's father's works, like what was he researching as well. That's also a big thing. Like, what was he researching that is so vital to Mr. Bill Wyatt? But also, this Madame Martin person, like, yes, she seems to be a charlatan of sorts, but what is she angling for? And what does she seem to be after? Is she working with someone? That sort of thing. So that's what I'm saying. Now, I thought this was really cute, which is why it makes me really want to go read more of these books, because this is really the type of murder mystery that I enjoy. We don't always have to have murders in the house. We can just have good mysteries to solve. And we can have the relationship between her and Ashton, between Saffron and Alexander Ashton, it's cute, and they do really well. But at times, like, Saffron kind of forgets that they do need to be a little bit proper, and Ashton is trying so hard to do things the right way, especially in her family home, and she's all like, oh, you can just come to my room and we can talk, and he's like, no, I really can't, like, that would just not be the right thing to do. And she's like, why? And he's like, do you know how that would look to other people? And he's like, I'm trying to do the right thing. And she's like, oh. So, like, she's not even putting it together, because they're not even doing anything. Just saying. They literally would just be talking. But the thing is like, she doesn't even see, I guess, in this day and age, where these things are improper, she's not seeing the impropriety, and he's trying so hard to maintain that level of propriety for her sake in her family home. And so I think that's really cute. Like, honestly, that's kind of a green flag in my book. It's a real, like, if the other books are on par with this book, then it's gotta be a really fantastic series. I really liked, like, the story. I liked the way it was written. I thought it was well thought out. The characters are fun. Now, in this particular book, I don't know if Elizabeth is a lush in the other particular books, but in this particular book, Elizabeth was kind of drinking a little bit more than she needed to be drinking, until Saffron kind of calls her on it, and she's like, she starts kind of hiding the liquor. And then Elizabeth kind of gets like, well, why didn't you tell me about several different things? To the point that there was one thing that Elizabeth was like, why didn't you tell me? And it was something that Saffron just had no opportunity to tell her. And I'm just like, girl, you gotta get a grip. You maybe need to stop drinking, because, like, you could have, like, put two and two together had you been in your own right head. But, like, I'm just saying, really good book. Like, there's a lot of complexity to it with the relationships. They're not just as perfectly streamlined as, I guess you could say picturesque. They've got some complexity to them, which is nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it. I had a good time. So I appreciated being able to get the audiobook as well, which means I got to listen to it faster and continue doing all the things that I do, like painting and reading, or painting and vacuuming and all the other stuff that I needed to do my dishes. I think I made some English muffins while I was also doing it as well, because that's just sometimes what I do, is I do things with my hands. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the summary. I hope I didn't spoil anything. I don't think I did. Trying to think, is there anything else? I was just kind of reading to see if there's anything that I missed that I was going to mention, but I don't think there is. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, because I do want to leave the mysterious ending of, like, all the wrap-ups for you guys to figure out. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one.